Day after the UD attack, more details have emerged on the terrorists. The recoveries made from them prove two things. One, they came undoubtedly from Pakistan, and two, they were prepared to be in a state of war for the long haul. Here's a detailed report.
The most audacious attack on an army camp ever. 11 martyred. 6 foreign terrorists killed. And this is irrefutable proof of just where they came from. Made in Pakistan food packets of high nutrition items like dry fruits and dry meats. Even dishes like chicken achari, stew keema, chicken kadai and dal mash. All suggesting that these terrorists were prepared for the long haul. And to help them carry out their mission, 6 AK rifles with 55 magazines, 2 shotguns, 2 night vision binoculars, 4 radio sets, 32 unused grenades, a medical kit and a large quantity of warlike stores were all recovered from these dead terrorists. The attack has dealt a huge blow to our forces, and the army chief is at the camp today to boost their morale.
The sacrifice will not go in vain. In fact, it will inspire each and every one of us.
And the government's message to Pakistan underlines India's resolve.
सभी जवानों के प्रति, भारत मां के इन वीर सपूतों के प्रति आदर पूर्वक श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं.
So far, there has been no change in Narendra Modi's scheduled rally in Kashmir. And security that was believed to be at an all-time high due to a specific Lashkar threat has been further stepped up.
After 4 continuous attacks yesterday of violence, the security has been beefed up all across Kashmir Valley and particularly in Srinagar city. There is an alert that has been sounded by the police that there are possibilities of more attacks happening in and around Srinagar, particularly in the wake of the Prime Minister's visit on December 8th.
One day, 4 attacks, 13 Indians martyred. The world has spoken up to condemn the attack. Question is, if Pakistan is listening. With Shuja ul Haq in Srinagar, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Meanwhile, the politics of terror has begun. Rahul Gandhi blamed the Modi government for the rise in terrorist activities in Jammu and Kashmir. Addressing an election rally in Ranchi, the Congress vice president said that Modi had failed to effectively deal with China and Pakistan, and that when the UPA was in power, tourists, not terrorists, came to the valley. He added that each of Modi's election campaigns were preceded by incidents of communal violence.
10 साल हमारी सरकार थी, जम्मू कश्मीर में टूरिस्ट जा रहे थे, 40 जहाज लैंड करते थे रोज, शांति थी. उनकी सरकार आई और आतंकवाद शुरू हो गया.
The BJP has hit back at Rahul Gandhi, saying when he could have spoken, he chose to go on a silent protest and was now resorting to desperate tactics to target Modi. It is a free run for the 2611 mastermind Hafiz Saeed. He continues to spew venom against India as terrorists from Pakistan-based launch pads launch jihadi strikes on Indian soil.
फौरी तौर पर कश्मीर का मसला हल कर दे, और अगर तू करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है तो फिर इसके बाद इंशाअल्लाह कश्मीर दरवाजा होगा और ग़ज़वा हिंद बर्पा होगा.
Right around this time on Friday afternoon, a series of terror attacks were unleashed in Kashmir that left 8 army men, 3 policemen and 2 civilians dead.
नवाज शरीफ, मैं तुम्हें अल्लाह का हुक्म सुनाता हूँ, अगर मोदी मज़ाकरात के लिए कश्मीर पर और यूनाइटेड नेशन की करारदादों पर मज़ाकरात के लिए तैयार ना हो तो फिर तुम जाकर उनकी मदद के लिए खड़े हो जाओ.
But this is the 2611 mastermind. With a free pass in Pakistan, anything he says and does is seen as a direct instruction to his Jamaat ud-Dawah terror cadre. An alert has, as a result, been sounded in all the major Indian metros, with specific input about a possible terror strike on a place of worship or crowded marketplaces. While the United States encouraged terror be resolved as a bilateral and not international issue, the Indian government's approach came under sharp attack from the opposition.
कल कश्मीर में आतंकवादियों ने भारत के लोकतंत्र पर हमला करने का निर्लज्ज प्रयास किया.
But with the most crucial phases of elections pending and terror baiters like Hafiz Saeed let loose in Pakistan, the valley remains on tenterhooks. Bureau Report, headlines today.
A 12-year-old boy, a school bag with a bomb in it and a blast that took his life. The freak blast happened in Roorkee at a garbage dump some 20 meters from city's DAV college. But how did a class 6 student get his hands on a bomb? The Uttarakhand Chief Minister promises a full investigation.
This routine police drill does not explain the horror that unfolded at this spot. These gut-wrenching visuals tell the real story. The body lying on the road is that of a class 6 student, killed by a bomb in his school bag.
अभी डिटरमिन नहीं हो पाया है कि एग्जैक्टली क्या चीज़ थी. हम लोग का अनुमान है कि पुराना कोई निष्क्रिय बॉम्ब या कुछ होगा जो बच्चे ने उठा लिया, जो यहाँ पे चौक से या जो हिला कर खेलते हुए जा रहा था, उससे वो ब्लास्ट हो गया.
हो सकता है क्योंकि वहाँ आर्मी का भी वो है, वहाँ से चांदमारी से कोई कबाड़ के साथ आया हुआ कोई व्यक्ति वो हो.
The boy, identified as Tushar, reportedly picked up a defused bomb that was lying on the road and kept it in his school bag. The bomb went off while he was playing with it, killing him on the spot. After the incident, the police team rushed to the spot and cordoned off the entire area. For now, the Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat has ordered a probe to find out just how the boy managed to lay his hands on that explosive. Meanwhile, he has appealed to the people to maintain calm and allow the police to carry out their investigations. Bureau Report, headlines today.
More findings have now come to light in the case relating to former Noida Authority engineer Yadav Singh's disproportionate and unaccountable assets, from diamonds which worth to about 100 crores to properties across Uttar Pradesh. There is no stone that Yadav Singh has left unturned to legalize and hide his unfairly amassed wealth.
Trouble doesn't seem to wane away from the 1,000 crore Noida chief engineer, Yadav Singh, who has allegedly amassed unknown amounts of illegal wealth in his 34-year stint. The Income Tax Department in its latest findings has recovered diamonds worth 100 crore from Singh's Noida home and lockers at the Punjab National Bank. Documents relating to various real estate properties have also been found. Officials of Noida Authority are now preparing a dossier on all the contracts handled by Yadav, which the tax sleuths have asked for. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. An exclusive Mail Today finding has discovered that apart from illegal wealth, Yadav has also allegedly amassed unaccountable properties across Uttar Pradesh. Apart from a plush bungalow in Noida, Yadav and his family owns a bungalow in Agra's Amit Nagar locality. Another 6-bedroom bungalow is currently under construction in the same area. A big independent house in Agra's Nandpura locality, ancestral home in Agra's Nandpur locality. Not only this, documents suggesting his ownership of more than 200 commercial and residential plots in Noida and Greater Noida have also been found. He also owns properties on major highways connecting Agra, Gwalior and Firozabad too. But it is not property alone that has Yadav's massive empire running all these days. A number of companies have been discovered in his and his family's name. Chahat Technologies Private Limited, the company with 1,800 rupees turnover, became worth 5 crore rupees in just 5 years. Hichki Creations Private Limited is a company believed to be among Yadav Singh's Benami firms. New Era Software, Yadav's son Sunny, is the director of this company. Kusum Garments Private Limited, the company started with just 2,300 rupees, became worth 2 crore rupees in just a year's time. Quick Infotech Solutions Private Limited, Yadav's wife Kusum Lata and close associates are the directors in this company. KS Ultratech Private Limited, Yadav's wife Kusum Lata and son Sunny are owners of this firm. The findings in Yadav's disproportionate assets case has opened up a Pandora's box for the tax department to probe. It has a long way to go before the complete truth is unearthed and Yadav Singh is brought to book. With inputs from Mail Today and Shivendra Srivastav, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Bangalore-based music composer Ricky Kej has now been nominated for Grammy 2015 Best New Age Album category. Ricky happens to be the first ever Indian to be nominated for this category. The nomination for the 57th Grammy Awards were announced by the Recording Academy on Friday, December 5th. Winds of Samsara is the debut collaborative album by Kej and renowned South African fluteist Wouter Kellerman, and was recorded over 2 years by Ricky Kej with over 120 musicians from 5 continents. Kej is a Punjabi Marwadi by birth and was born in the United States in the year 1981. He has composed for Kannada films and also for 2011 Cricket World Cup. Indians who have won Grammy Awards before include the likes of Pandit Ravi Shankar, who has been the proud recipient of the prestigious award thrice, Ustad Zakir Hussain, Vishwa Mohan Bhatt and A.R. Rahman. Through this album, the star has matched duo Ricky Martin and Wouter. Winds of Samsara debuted at US Billboard New Age charts and continued to be in the top 10 for the first 12 weeks.
Well, India goes to the Grammys yet again, and this time it is number Bangalore boy Ricky Kej with us. Congratulations, it's a proud moment for the country. Ecstatic you are, the smile on your face shows so. But how did you get there?
Thank you so much. Yes, it is. It's an amazing moment, and yeah, it's been just a lot of hard work and for many years, and making music that I truly believe in, and making music that I love, and it just got liked, and yeah, and I'm here. So it's just an amazing feeling. Yeah.
Winds of Samsara, and that's what the nomination is for. But if you can tell us what exactly went into compiling this album, and I'm told it's a special dedication for Nelson Mandela also in it?
Yeah. So the album itself features 120 musicians who we got together from across the world, and we recorded in 5 continents, across 5 continents, and it's been quite a lot of hard work for 2 years. And it's a collaboration with famous South African flute player Wouter Kellerman. Now, Wouter Kellerman played for Nelson Mandela for his 80th celebration, and he composed a song which was dedicated to Nelson Mandela. I composed a song which was dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi. So it was the whole album is sort of like is a fusion between Africa and India through the eyes of Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi. So it was a great album to work on, and it was a great experience for 2 years.
So when you got that particular call saying nomination for the Grammys, your instant reaction at that time?
It was, it was a lot of disbelief in the beginning, because, the Grammys are all about dreams and stuff like that. That's something that you would normally dream about, that the one day I would win a Grammy, or one day I would get nominated for a Grammy, and being recognized on that stage with some of the greatest artists, like, the previous winners are Enya, Enigma, Peter Gabriel of that particular category, and being recognized on that level is just unbelievable.